Vasudeva Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhagavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 4 and transcendental knowledge, text number 14 onwards. So last time we discussed, Krishna says, I have created this 4 varnas, Chatur Varnyam Myasri, and based on Guna and Karma, not based on Jnana, not based on birth. So further he says, Namam karmani limpanti, name karma phale spriha, iti mam yo vijanati, karma bhirna sambadhyate. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. So there is no work that affects me, because all his works, for us it is karma. Karma means we get the karmic reaction. Krishna doesn't do karma. It's his pastime. He does lila. Huge difference. We do karma based on, as mentioned previously in the previous verse, based on the material modes of nature, goodness, passion, ignorance, then we are in certain varna, certain ashram, we act and we get the reaction. Krishna is not under any material modes. He is beyond everything. He is the one who has established this varna system. So he is beyond it. And he doesn't get any karmic reactions. So many times we say, oh, Ram killed Bali, and Bali came as a hunter Jara to take revenge, and he killed Krishna. No. Ram killed Bali to protect his devotee Sugriva, and he gave Bali also destination, topmost destination, where everybody who dies in hands of Ram or Krishna gets liberated. And even Bali is allowed to come back as that hunter Jara. First of all, he did not kill Krishna, he shot his arrow, and then secondly, there is no karmic reaction that Krishna has to go through. He just performs his pastimes. This is a huge difference. And this is what Krishna himself is saying. One who understands this truth about me. So that's what he had said earlier. Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tattva. Mean my janma or my appearance and my pastime, they're all transcendent. One who knows this in truth, he never takes birth again. So here also is saying, and nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. He's not asking for any karma phala. It's not dependent on anything. He's the Supreme Lord. We are dependent on our karma, not Krishna. And this is what he says, one who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. Means he's always liberated. So all we have to do is know Krishna in truth and serve. That's it. So Prabhupada writes, as there are constitutional laws in the material world stating that the king can do no wrong, or that the king is not subject to the state laws. Similarly, the Lord, although he is the creator of this material, is not affected by the activities of the material. So he's not affected by the activities of the material world, means whatever activities he performs. He's not affected. He creates and remains aloof from the creation, whereas the living entities are entangled in the fruitive results of material activities because of their propensity for lording it over material resources. So living entities are entangled, just like us. We are entangled in the fruitive results of material activities, means karma, phala. We have to get the karma, whether good or bad. For sinful activities, we get bad results. For pious activities, we get good results. And good results could be we're born in a good, high, upper class family, we're born in a rich family, we're born in a aristocratic family, or we could be very learned when we born in a learned family, or later on in our life we could be very learned. We could be good looking person. We could be rich, very, very rich. So these are all based on karmas that we have performed earlier, previous lifetimes. Of course, this lifetime, based on those karmas, the universal energies, they guide us, they force us to go to that particular path to get our karmic reactions, whether good or bad. And suppose somebody has done plenty of pious activities previously, so he gets a result of being rich. So he or she, whatever, rich and lots of followers, famous. Okay, great. The soul has nothing to do with this. Soul only did karma and now is getting the reactions. Soul is always transcendental, but because we think we are this, we're doing karma. Now, when he is rich and popular and intelligent, making so many inventions, but now what he is doing, it's not like this will be permanent, that every lifetime he will make inventions and he'll be very, very rich. Not necessarily. So in this lifetime, if he is committing any sinful activities, then he has to suffer. Whether he suffers in this lifetime, whether he suffers next lifetime, whether he suffers 10 lifetimes later, that's up to Yamaraj to decide. But this entanglement in the fruitive results of material activities, that is definitely going to happen. That's what the point is. We should learn why I want to go through this again. And nobody in the material, nobody is there who only enjoys. There's always a mixed bag of reactions. Some enjoyment is there, some wonderful enjoyment is there, but some suffering is also always there, always. The sufferings are categorized as birth, old age, disease, death, and adideve, adibhote, adiatmic klesh. These seven suffering packages always goes with everybody. Then the question arises, why I have to go through all this? Why should I go through? First, I have to work very hard to do some pious activities. If I have to give charity, I have to earn that money, then I can give charity. And to help somebody, I have to be capable enough to help somebody. So many, many pious activities. And in the meanwhile, I'll also commit some sinful activities which maybe happened unknowingly or maybe knowingly. But then I take birth again, I enjoy for a while, but again I'll go through the miseries. And then again take birth, I enjoy for a while, again go through some miseries, some more miseries. An intelligent person will ask, why? Why should I go through all this? And what's the way out? This is what Bhagavad Gita teaches us, or other scriptures also. But people who don't know this, don't want to follow this, oh, aise sansar to aise chalta. This is the way of life. No, this is not the way of life that Krishna wants us to live. This is what we have made up. Krishna wants us out of here. And this is what he says. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. Means he gets liberated. But we don't know. And many times this also Prabhupada said, people say, oh, we don't know what we are supposed to do. We don't know the message of Gita. And Prabhupada explains, give an example, like in India, we drive on the left side of the road. In America, we drive on the right side of the road. Now, somebody comes from India to America and he drives on the wrong side because he's used to driving that side of the road in India. Is the policeman not going to catch him and give him a ticket? Who's policeman? He will say, you are supposed to know the laws of the land, not that I'm going to teach you. I'm just going to enforce the fine so you learn your lesson. So similarly, in material world, okay, we have taken birth here, we are suffering, so we have to know how to get out of it. Ignorance is not an excuse. So if we don't know, we go and learn. But we cannot keep on saying, oh, I'm just going to keep on driving on the left side of the road, even in America, because this is how I do it. No. So we have to learn. It is as a human being, when we have this human form of life, this is our primary duty to learn, to purify our life, and to get out of here. Go back to the spiritual. So, and why we get entangled, as Prabhupada explains, because of our tendency to lord over the material resources. He creates and remains aloof from the creation, whereas the living entities are entangled in the fruitive results of material activities because of their propensity for lording it over material resources. So lording it over material resources means I want to be the controller, proprietor, and enjoyer of everything that I see. I want to do that. I want to be this. I want to be that. Rather than Krishna is a proprietor of everything. Everything comes from him. You studied in Bhagavatam in so much of detail. So everything should be used in his service. That's the whole thing. But because we want to lord it over, we want to use it in our service, then we do those karmas, which are completely wrong, first of all. Then we develop these tendencies in different modes of nature. Even mode of goodness is still trying to lord over the nature. As a Brahman also, he's not out of it. The mode of goodness is considered as a shackle made of gold. Mode of passion, a shackle made of silver. And mode of ignorance, a shackle made of iron. Nevertheless, they all are shackles. That means they all are binding us here. So the devotee goes beyond all this. He says everything belongs to the Lord, so I should use it in the service of the Lord. Okay, I mean, it might take time for me to learn my lesson, to surrender completely, to develop full love for Krishna, where I serve him completely. It take few lifetimes, but still he's on the right path. But otherwise, one will get entangled in the fruitive results. The proprietor of an establishment, again, Prabhupada's amazing sentences. The proprietor of an establishment is not responsible for the right and wrong activities of the workers, but the workers are themselves responsible. So the proprietor has given a facility for the workers. And if they do the right thing, they'll get the right result. If they do wrong, they'll get the sinful. They'll get bad reactions. Not that the proprietor is responsible. So God is not responsible for our We actually give him the blame for bad results. We never give him the credit for the good results. um, कि भगवान तूने ये मेरे साथ ये क्यों किया? He didn't do anything. He has no enmity towards us. It's whatever we did, we are suffering for it, or we are getting good reactions. But we should always be thankful. That's a grateful heart. But he definitely is not responsible. So the proprietor is not responsible, only the workers are. The living entities are engaged in their respective activities of sense gratification, and these activities are not ordained by the Lord. For advancement of sense gratification, the living entities are engaged in the work of this world, and they aspire to heavenly happiness after death. So we get so entangled that we can only think of sense gratification some or other. I should be comfortable and I should enjoy. I should control. If we see any movie, what is everybody after? The villain is definitely after, okay, I want to enjoy this, I should have this kind of money coming from wherever, and I should be killing people who are against my wishes of sense enjoyment. So we call him a villain. But what's the hero doing? Hero is also doing the same thing. Sense enjoyment, okay, might not be corrupt person, but again, he's trying to enjoy his senses with his maybe girlfriend or wife. That's all it is. This is the whole movie, and this is how the movie of life also works. Everybody is trying to do that. And what do living entities do? And after death, they want to go to heaven to enjoy more over there, enjoy heavenly in heaven. The kind of enjoyment over there, it's like millions of times better than on earth. The Lord, being full in himself, has no attraction for so-called heavenly happiness. The Lord, Krishna, he's not attracted to heavenly happiness. His spiritual world, Golok Dham, Vrindavan, in spiritual world, it is said every particle of dust of Vrindavan, every particle is Chintamani. Chintamani means it can afford any kind of opulence that one desires. Every tree is a desire tree. But the devotees, and obviously the Lord, they're not attached to any opulence. They don't ask for anything except the devotees only ask for the service of the Lord, and anything they need for the service of the Lord. The dham, the chintamani, dust, and the desire trees, they provide everything, whatever they need for the service of the Lord. They don't want anything for their own service, for their own happiness. And this is what Krishna displays when he comes to this material world. Even we call it's a village, Vrindavan or Braj, and he was only taking cows out for grazing and playing with his friends. But the dham, even on earth, Vrindavan, is not different from spiritual Vrindavan, but it just doesn't display all the opulences of spiritual Vrindavan. So we see and we think, oh, this is a very dirty place, and sewer line is not proper, and Yamuna is not clean. And then look at the streets and look at the crowd everywhere, mismanagement, monkeys, this, that, but this is all spiritual. It's just we don't have the eyes to see it. So Lord has no attraction for so-called heavenly happiness because he is full of it and he is more happy in the spiritual world. The heavenly demigods are only his engaged servants. The proprietor never desires the low-grade happiness, such as the workers may desire. No. He's aloof from the material actions and reactions. So we only ask, oh, oh, Krishna, give me this, Krishna, give me that, oh, God, give me this, God. He doesn't need anything. He doesn't want anything. And he's not asking for this kind of happiness. His happiness is completely spiritual. For example, the rains are not responsible for different types of vegetation that appear on the earth. Although without such rains, there is no possibility of vegetative growth. So rains only provide water. Whatever vegetation is going to appear on earth, that depends upon the seed, whatever seed is planted wherever. But without the rains, there is no possibility of vegetation either. So Krishna is not responsible for what kind of happiness or miseries we will get. But without Krishna's arrangement, we will not get that happiness or misery either. So this material world he has created for this kind of purpose, that we get our happiness and miseries, and those who are intelligent or those who desire to go out, get out of it, he helps in that way also. But he is not entangled in this material world in any way possible. He's not entangled. And the reason he appears, he has already said, Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritam, and to establish dharma. So in the future, when the living entities are going to take birth here, they also have something to follow, something proper to follow and get out of it. Vedic Smriti confirms this fact as follows. Nimitta matram evaso srijayam sarga karma. Pradhana karani bhuta yato vaisrijya shaktaya. In the material creations, the Lord is only the supreme cause. The immediate cause is material nature by which the cosmic manifestation is made visible. So supreme cause is Lord, yes. Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. The immediate cause is material nature, but the cause of material nature is supreme. It all comes from him. It doesn't appear from somewhere else. Everything. He is the source of everything. But we just see material nature and just get entangled. The created beings are of many varieties, such as the demigods, human beings, and lower animals. And all of them are subject to the reactions of their past good or bad activities. So lower animals, they're subject to reactions of the good or bad past activities. So suppose a dog. So in the form of a dog, he has no karma that he is responsible for. Everything is controlled. But as a dog, what kind of life he is going to live? Whether in some rich family or whether he'll be a street dog, completely harassed by other dogs or bitten by other animals, or stones will be thrown at him, or he'll be beaten up by some human beings. That depends upon his past karmas as human being. But now he's got the body of a dog, he can enjoy in a rich family, rich mansion. And sometimes we hear the people leave their inheritance in name of dog, their dogs or cats. So means rest of the life the dog or cat will be taken care of even if the owner has died. But they're just for this lifetime. Then what will happen? Who knows? The Lord only gives them the proper facilities for such activities and the regulations of the modes of nature. But he is never responsible for their past and present activities. So yes, the facilities are given by the Lord, but he's never responsible for the past and present activities. In the Vedanta Sutra, it is confirmed, Vaishamya Naragrinya na sapekshitvat. The Lord is never partial to any living entity. The living entity is responsible for his own acts. The Lord only gives him facilities through the agency of material nature, the external energy. So he only gives the facilities, whether it's a facility of things he provides or the facility of intelligence is given by the Lord. The mind, intelligence, false ego, which is a subtle body we study, it comes from the Lord. It doesn't come on its own from somewhere else. But how do we use the intelligence? That's up to us. Just like we can go and buy a car, but how do we use that car? That's up to us. Whether we just use the car to go to work, come back home, or take care of family business, or to go take the car and rob a bank, or kill somebody, or to run over somebody, that's completely up to us. And then we get the reactions. Anyone who's fully conversant with all the intricacies of this law of karma or fruitive activities does not become affected by the results of his activities. So one who's fully conversant, he will not act wrongly, or wrongly in the sense, he will not act for his own sake. He'll only act for Krishna's service. In other words, the person who understands this transcendental nature of the Lord is an experienced man in Krishna consciousness, and thus he is never subjected to the laws of karma. So does that mean he doesn't do any activity? No. Not to do any activity is also an activity, because we are supposed to do some activities. But what activities to be done? Like we have to speak. For what purpose do we speak? Do we speak to glorify Krishna, for Krishna's pleasure, for preaching, or do we speak some nonsense, mundane, material subjects, or we speak to implicate others, to put others in trouble? Speaking power is there. How we use this facility. Similarly, hands. Hands are given for what? For the service of Krishna. But with the hands, we can kill somebody. We can, or we can help somebody, serve somebody. It's up to us how we use the hands. And similarly, other senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, legs. All these senses are there. These are the facilities given by Krishna. And then the nature is there. Nature means all the external facilities that we see, resources that we see. How do we use them? So one who has a right intelligence, a right consciousness, and Prabhupada used the word experienced man in Krishna consciousness, means he has learned his lesson. He has learned. Now he is working on his bhakti part. And thus he is never subjected to the laws of karma. Means he's not doing anything for himself. He's doing work for Krishna. So what reaction, material reaction is going to get? Nothing. One who does not know the transcendental nature of the Lord and who thinks that the activities of the Lord are aimed at fruitive results, as are the activities of the ordinary living entity, certainly becomes entangled himself in fruitive reactions. So who thinks that the activities of the Lord are aimed at fruitive results, so then then he doesn't understand who's the Supreme Lord. Then he becomes more entangled. But one who knows the supreme truth is a liberated soul fixed in Krishna consciousness. So that's all we have to know. And that's why the chapter is called Transcendental Knowledge. One who knows this truth. And those who knows this kind of truth about Krishna, his activities, what happens, it explains in text 15. Evam gyatva kritam karma purvairapi mumukshubhi kuru karmeva tasmatvam purvataram kritam. All the liberated souls in the ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. So, Arjun's duty was not an easy duty, not like you have to just go to work, log in some hours, meet some deadlines and come home. His duty was to kill. And he's sitting in the war field. And Krishna is talking to him about the liberated souls. Because Krishna is there to teach him, even if you're in a war field, you work with this understanding of my transcendental nature and you work for me. Later on, it will come to this point that you just fight for me. And when Arjun fought for him, that means he will not get any karmic reactions. It's all bhakti. There are two classes of men. Some of them are full of polluted material things within their hearts, or material things or material desires. And some of them are materially free, free of any material desire. They are spiritual desires, means to desire to serve Krishna is there, but materially they don't worry about anything. Krishna consciousness is equally beneficial for both of these persons. Those who are full of dirty things can take to the line of Krishna consciousness for a gradual cleansing process, following the regulative principles of devotional service. So they can, even if we have all sorts of material desires in our heart, if we take up the process, it will gradually cleanse. This is the only way, this is the only process of cleansing the heart, following the regulative principles. So regulative principles we were discussing in Nectar of Instruction. So they are some yam and niyam. Yam means things not to be done. Means the four principles: not to eat meat, not to have illicit sex, not to gamble, and not to drink liquor, intoxication. And niyam is to regularly chant. At ISKCON we do minimum 16 rounds every day. So it gradually cleanses our heart of all the material desires, thinking that we want to enjoy this, we want to enjoy that. No more desires are left. And secondly, those who are already cleansed of the impurities may continue to act in the same Krishna consciousness so that others may follow their exemplary activities and thereby be benefited. So those who don't have any material desires, they still act properly to set an example for others to follow. And also they act in this way to serve Krishna. It gives them pleasure to serve Krishna. They don't want to do anything else. Foolish persons or neophytes in Krishna consciousness often want to retire from activities without having knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So retire. Retire means, okay, it's very frustrating outside, so I just want to give up all activities. No, the soul is always very active, needs some activity, positive activity, not no activity. So that's the purpose of foolish persons or neophytes. Neophytes means just the beginners. Arjuna's desire to retire from activities on the battlefield was not approved by the Lord. Arjuna also wanted to run away, but Krishna said, no. One needs only know how to act, not to not act. To retire from the activities of Krishna consciousness and to sit aloof, making a show of Krishna consciousness is less important than actually engaging in the field of activities for the sake of Krishna. So to retire or to be inactive completely, that is not what is asked by Krishna. Krishna said, do the activities for my sake. So Arjuna is here advised to act in Krishna consciousness, following in the footsteps of the Lord's previous disciples, such as sun god Vivaswan, as mentioned here and before. So Krishna gave this knowledge to sun god Vivaswan in the beginning of time, right? We studied that. But after hearing this, after getting this knowledge, sun god Vivaswan didn't say, oh, I'm not going to do any activity, I'm just going to sit at one place and meditate. Or just be there. No, if he does that, then how's the universe going to run? He has his duty to perform. And he performs his duty. But while performing his duty, as we studied in Bhagavatam, they are on his chariot, there are 60,000 sages, Valkilyas, who are always absorbed in chanting the Vedic mantras, and they're facing the sun god while they're going on the chariot, and sun god is always listening to them while doing his duty of giving sunlight throughout the universe. So both can go hand in hand. It's not like material, and now material duty for him has become spiritual duty. Obviously, he's always Krishna conscious because he learned the knowledge from Krishna himself. But now he must be enjoying this. The same thing for us, same thing for Arjuna. Arjuna is advised to act in Krishna consciousness, not to run away from the activities. So, same way, this Bhagavad Gita is for us in the sense, we are also advised to be Krishna conscious in our activities, day-to-day activities, whether we are doing work or whether we're taking care of the family, taking care of business, jobs, taking care of our own issues, health, driving, whatever activities. We can be Krishna conscious, dedicating all the activities to the Lord. Therefore, he recommends the acts of the sun god, who learned this art from the Lord some millions of years before. All such students of Lord Krishna are mentioned here as past liberated persons, engaged in the discharge of duties allotted by Krishna. Engaged in the discharge of duties allotted by Krishna. So those are all liberated persons, and Krishna is telling Arjuna, you also become liberated by following their example, not by running away. And if you run away thinking it is too much trouble, then that will be acting against my wishes. So I guess I can stop here. My Vedabase also kicked me out. Just kicked me out, I don't know why. But anyway, anybody has any questions or comments?
Nice class, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Mata. Thank you, Prabhu. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.